You've got 16, 32, maybe even 64 gigs of RAM, yet your game runs like it's starving for memory. FPS tanks when you Alt-Tab, textures load late, or the game stutters when a new map loads. The truth is, Windows and many modern games don't automatically use your RAM efficiently. They leave it half idle while forcing your CPU or storage to pick up the slack. Today, we're fixing that. I'll show you hidden tweaks to unlock your RAM's full potential, reduce memory bottlenecks, and stop your system from acting like it only has 8 GB when you clearly have more. Step 1. Check your RAM speeds and dual channel. Before diving into Windows tweaks, let's make sure your hardware isn't silently holding you back. A lot of people spend hours tuning software, but if your RAM isn't set up properly, you're already losing 30 to 40% of potential performance before the game even launches. Check with CPU-Z. Download and open CPU-Z. It's free, lightweight, and super accurate. Go to the Memory tab. Here you'll see 2 critical stats. Channel number should say dual. If it says single, you're leaving huge bandwidth on the table. DRAM frequency, multiply this number by 2, because DDR equals double data rate. For example, if you see around 1600 MHz, that means your RAM is running at 3200 MHz effective speed. Why it matters? Single channel cuts memory bandwidth almost in half, which chokes modern CPUs and GPUs that rely heavily on fast RAM access. It's one of the most common hidden FPS killers in budget or DIY builds. How to fix it? Make sure your RAM sticks are in the correct slots, usually A2 or B2 on most motherboards. Also, go into BIOS, enable XMP, DOCP, or EXPO profile. This ensures your RAM runs at its rated speed, not the slow 2133 MHz.
Step 2. Disable SysMain and Prefetch. Windows has a feature called SysMain, formerly Superfetch, that constantly tries to guess what apps you'll open next. Sounds clever, right? In reality, for gaming rigs, it often does more harm than good. What actually happens is Windows starts preloading apps and files into RAM, or even hammering your SSD or HDD in the background, resources that should be kept 100% ready for your game. Here's how to shut it down. Press Win+R, type services.msc, scroll to SysMain, right-click, Properties, set Startup Type to Disabled, then click Stop to end the service immediately. Pro move. Open the same services window and consider disabling Windows Search if you rarely use Windows' built-in file search. It runs indexing in the background, constantly touching your disk. With these tweaks, you stop Windows from preloading junk and wasting memory and disk cycles. Your system stays lean, and your RAM and SSD are reserved for what actually matters, keeping your game smooth and responsive.
Step 3. Set a proper page file. Even if you've got a monster rig with 16, 32, or even 64 GB of RAM, Windows still relies on the page file, a hidden swap file on your drive that acts as backup RAM. When games, or Windows itself, request more memory than what's free, data spills into the page file. The problem? If Windows manages it automatically, it constantly resizes the file on the fly, which can cause stutters, micro hitches, or even sudden crashes when your memory gets tight. Here's how to fix it. Press Start, search Advanced System Settings, and open it. Under Performance, click Settings. Switch to the Advanced tab. Under Virtual Memory, click Change. Uncheck Automatically Manage Paging Size for all drives. Select your main drive, C, then choose Custom Size. Then set Initial Size equals 1.5 times your total RAM, Maximum Size equals 2 times your total RAM. Hit Set, then OK, and restart your PC. This ensures Windows always has a stable pre-allocated swap file ready to go. Instead of resizing mid-game, which creates lag spikes, it stays consistent and prevents memory-related FPS drops. Step 4. Enable Large System Cache. Hidden tweak. By default, Windows balances RAM usage between active programs and system caching. That sounds fine on paper, but for gaming, especially open-world titles with huge texture or asset streaming, Windows doesn't always allocate RAM aggressively enough for caching. This can result in micro-stutters when loading new areas, textures, or objects into memory. There's a hidden registry switch called large system cache that changes this behavior. Instead of treating your RAM as just app space, it dedicates more of it to caching, meaning the OS keeps more game data ready in memory and reduces streaming hitches. Here's how to enable it. Press Win+R, type regedit, and hit Enter. Navigate to, on the right side, find Large System Cache. If it doesn't exist, create a new DWORD 32-bit value with that name. Double-click it, then set value data equal 1, close Registry Editor, and restart your PC. Note, this tweak is mainly beneficial for systems with plenty of RAM, 16 GB or more. On low memory machines, it could actually reduce performance because Windows will prioritize caching over application space. Step 5. GPU VRAM Overflow Fix. Sometimes when VRAM runs out, games don't touch your system RAM properly. Instead, they dump to your storage, which is slow. Fix. Force Windows to prioritize system RAM over pagefile. Registry path. Edit Prefer External Manifest. Create, if missing, DWORD 32-bit. Set to 1. This helps DirectX handle VRAM overflow more gracefully by pulling into RAM instead of hitting the drive. Step 6. Background RAM hogs. Some apps quietly hoard RAM even when minimized. Open Task Manager, then Processes. Sort by memory usage. Kill things like Discord overlays, RGB software, and browser tabs. Bonus, in Discord, Settings, Advanced, turn off hardware acceleration. This frees up RAM plus GPU cycles.
Step 7. ISLC, Intelligent Standby List Cleaner. Windows has a bad habit. It fills standby memory with cached apps, leaving games fighting for scraps. Download ISLC from Wagnard Soft, Safe Tool. Set Free Memory is lower than to 1024 megabytes. Enable Start Minimized plus Auto Start. This automatically clears standby memory during gaming, ensuring RAM is available when your game needs it.
Windows 11 Memory Compression. Windows 11 uses memory compression to squeeze more into RAM, but it can increase latency. Check if it's enabled. Open PowerShell admin. Type get.mmagent. If memory compression equals true, you can disable it with disable.mmagent.mc. Then restart. This reduces latency spikes at the cost of slightly higher RAM usage. Great for gaming rigs with 16 GB plus.
Step 10. In-game settings. RAM-hungry features. Finally, don't let the game itself waste RAM. Disable replay buffer or instant replay in NVIDIA or AMD software. Lower texture streaming pool size in Unreal Engine games. Turn off high-resolution shadows caching if your GPU already struggles with VRAM. These small changes prevent your game from hoarding RAM unnecessarily. And that's how you fix the issue of games not using your RAM properly. We tackled it from every angle. Hardware, dual channel and XMP, Windows, SysMain, cache, compression, pagefile and registry tweaks, VRAM overflow handling, standby memory cleanup with ISLC. Now your system can finally take advantage of all the RAM you paid for. No more bottlenecks, no more stutters, just smooth gameplay. If this helped, smash that like button, subscribe for more next-level optimizations, and drop a comment with your before and after results. Play smoother, load faster, and stop letting Windows waste your memory.